Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Survivor. This episode starts with everyone congratulating Ben on having a very well executed move where both he and Lauren were able to play both sides effectively enough to pull off a master stroke of deception, flushing out Joe's idol and taking out Jess, someone that nobody expected, in effect killing the Yawa 5 Alliance in the crib. Although, to be fair, as I covered in last episode's review, that was actually Chrissy's plan. That was really her brainchild. She came up with the plan, and granted it could not have succeeded without Ben and Lauren, but Chrissy was really the one behind that. Joe says that as a fan of Survivor, he really appreciates the move, and he loves the move, but at the same time, since he's actually in Survivor, it's really bad news. Mike is also totally rocked because he was kind of leading his side of the alliance along with Joe and maybe a few others that were sort of steering that alliance. And Mike had never actually been to a tribal council before this. And sorry to sound like a broken record for people who are regulars to my channel here, but this is what I've said a number of times before. After the merge, there's usually one tribe that has won a lot of immunities, so has pretty much never gone to tribal. So when they do go to tribal, they usually end up getting annihilated. And the people who come from the tribes that had to go to tribal a lot, they end up dominating because they know how to scramble, they know how to scheme, and they take over. And Mike seeing his plan fall apart right in front of his eyes at the very first tribal is a symptom of that. Often the baptism of fire is kind of a better way to go into the merge. The next day though, Lauren finds the secret advantage that was hidden in the nails, which, this was a really clever idea, allows her to not actually vote at the next tribal, but rather keep that piece of parchment so she can vote twice later down the track. And it could not have come at a more interesting part in the game for us the viewers for reasons which we'll get into later. But at the reward challenge, there was a lottery, and Joe won the lottery that no matter which side won the reward, he would definitely be there. And they had a big bowl of spaghetti bolognese, which they all got to take turns in eating, and Joe got to select who would go first all the way through to who would go last. And he put Devin in the front because he's trying to build stronger connections with Devin. And after Devin got done eating, there was one letter of the secret message revealed on the plate which Devin did not see. After JP finished up eating, there was even more of the message revealed, but he again didn't seem to see it until Cole shows up. And this is a disaster because we all know what Cole's like with food. I mean, he'd just eat the whole thing. He finally sees the clue telling him there's an idol underneath the flag, and he makes an attempt to try to cover up the clue by putting like a tea towel under the spaghetti sauce. Chrissy is in next though, and she still finds it anyway, and she thinks about disposing of the plate, but she leaves it because she says she wants Ryan, who's coming in after her, to find the clue as well. Why? I don't know. I don't know why she didn't just take the plate and ditch it like Ryan did so that no one else could see it, but I guess she figured others had already seen it, like Cole, so what difference does it make? She might need an extra pair of hands in order to get it. I don't know, but last time I questioned one of her moves, it was why she didn't play her secret idol in the very first episode, and I said it was dumb that she didn't, and it turned out she had a really good reason for doing it. She wanted to keep it as a dummy idol that she could use to fool people later on, which she still has. So she was right then, so I'm going to take it there's a good reason she did it here, and she's right now as well. So when they get back to camp, I was actually surprised that Cole, as soon as they got close to the camp, why he didn't just bolt and run towards the camp, jump at the bottom of that flag and just dig it up before anyone else knows what's going on. Because after Jess got voted out last night, his head's on the chopping block. He's got pretty much nothing to lose. I mean, he's not going to be in a worse situation, socially speaking, by blatantly getting an idol like that. Everyone wants him out anyway. He may as well just go and do it. But luckily for Chrissy and Ryan, Cole is a complete moron, because even though he heard Ryan and Chrissy whispering about the idol earlier, so he knows for a fact that they know about it, he instead says he's going to go off and pee, and of course you think, well, he's not really going to go pee, he's just going to pretend like he is, and then he's going to circle back around to the flag. No, he actually was, which gives Ryan, the Weasel, his chance to live up to his Weasley character's name and go and get the idol with pretty much zero effort. God. Cole is just terrible. He really is. But then as Chrissy is like kind of covering it up, Cole thinks she's digging for it, and the big wrestling match ensues in which no one finds it because Ryan's already got it. But Ben is convinced that Cole does has it because he thought he saw him put something in his shorts. So Cole's in a real bad situation. Everyone thinks he has the idol when he doesn't actually have it. That's like the worst situation to be in. But it's okay because Cole ends up winning real immunity, so he's safe from the vote. And luckily public enemy number one, Joe, is still right there to be chosen from, and he does not have an idol this time to protect him. So the Hero Hustler Alliance, the Majority Alliance now, plans to split the vote between Joe and Desi, just in case Cole does have a hidden immunity idol or someone else does and idol shenanigans happen. They're going to split the votes. However, because Lauren has to not vote tonight in order to get that advantage, they can't split the votes and they can't risk putting all of the votes on one person. So Lauren makes a tactical choice to tell Ben this so he can make alternative plans for the alliance. I thought it was quite interesting that she did that she shared that information with him, because Ben has previously said that now we're after the merge, he's in this for himself. Lauren has said the same thing. So it seems to me if you were really in it for yourself, if I were in Lauren's situation, I'd just take the vote, not let anyone know, and then we could just, if one of our side gets voted off, I wouldn't really care because I just have the extra vote anyway. I'd be more than willing to sacrifice one of my side if it means I'm getting an extra vote. But I guess the numbers were too tight perhaps, and Lauren just didn't want to take that risk. Or maybe she wasn't ready to break trust with Ben just yet. She wants to wait until the numbers thin out a bit more. But Ben figures out if she can't vote, they just need to bring over one person, just one person to their side. And that person is Mike. Still freaked out over how badly last night's tribal council went, he's desperate looking for anything stable to grab hold of. So when Ben sort of extends him that little lifeline, he seizes it, and he does indeed vote with the Hero Hustler Alliance, and the vote ends up going their way. But Joe and Cole had kind of figured out that if they do split the votes, they also need to only bring one person across. So meanwhile, Joe is trying to tempt Ryan and Devon to come over to his side to take out Ben. Ryan admits Ben is a serious threat, and no one wants to sit next to him at the end. So he's considering whether it's worth taking Ben out now. He doesn't, because he thinks if he takes out Ben, that will break trust with Chrissy, and he doesn't want to break trust with Chrissy yet. He should have broken trust with Chrissy already, because he can't win sitting next to her either. But while he's doing this, Ben is hiding in the bushes not too far away, listening to the whole thing, which just solidifies even more in his mind that Joe is public enemy number one. But since Joe is trying to sell this idea of taking out Ben, he makes an effort to stir him up and cause a big blow up with him in order to try and convince more people to vote for him or to get people on his side. He does this by accusing him of swearing on the Marine Corps to 3 different people. It's a pretty heavy thing to say to a Marine. They take that kind of thing very seriously. Joe's just kind of lucky, I think, that there's no violence allowed on Survivor. He's lucky those cameras were there too. But this goes as you would expect. It goes terribly, there's a big blow up, and these two are at each other's throats. Now Desi is still connected with Joe in his alliance. Now she doesn't know that the vote is going to be split between Joe and her. And she witnesses Joe lighting this fire under Ben, and she says, well, the last time that he did create a big blow up like this, there was method to his madness. He wanted people to vote for him because he had the idol and he needed to flip the votes back the other way. So his craziness kind of worked out then. So she says that she's trusting in him again, that this will somehow work out. Turns out that was a big mistake, Desi, because Joe could not get his ducks in a line. Even Desi and Joe did not vote for the same person. They weren't even organized together, the people who are outside the Majority Alliance, in a group. So this is an alliance without any clear direction. It's rudderless. However, I was rather surprised that after the votes came back and it was split between Joe and Desi, I figured, okay, well, on the revote, they now know that neither of them has an idol, so they can all just vote for Joe. It certainly seemed, based off the edit of the episode, that was their primary target all along, but they actually decided to take out Desi. The only reason I can think is perhaps because she won immunity of the previous episode, and she came very close to winning it again here, so they figured that put her higher up on the threat list than Joe, because Joe, nobody really trusts him or likes him or wants to work with him in any way, shape or form anyway, so I guess that puts him way down on the threat list. So I guess Desi just drew the short straw. But I said a couple episodes ago, when Joe's madness actually succeeded in taking out Crazy Alan, because Joe, I think, won't need to be like assassinated later. I think he'll just self-destruct on his own. I don't think you need to expend a lot of energy in assassinating him or stabbing him in the back or scheming against him. I think he'll just flame out. I said that then, and I thought this this was going to be the episode. He certainly seemed to be burning himself out. I still think he will. It'll probably happen over the next couple of episodes. But yeah, I think Joe's biggest enemy in this game is himself. But looking at Desi's game of where she went wrong in how she got voted out tonight, because as you know, we always try to ascertain what it was they did wrong, how they could do better next time. It's kind of difficult to say with Desi, because she did make alliances, she was loyal to those alliances when she needed to be, but she also was willing to work with other people and was willing to turn on those alliances when they were of no more benefit to them. She was willing to work with Jess, she was willing to work with Ashley even. So she kind of did everything right in that regard. She didn't get on anyone's nerves, and she only won one immunity challenge, so it's not like she was known as the challenge beast or anything. So it kind of seems like she did everything right. It just seems that she ended up on the wrong side of the alliance after the merge. I mean, after the merge, when we broke apart into two alliances, no one could really be sure about which side would actually win. So, I don't know, is it just bad luck? Did she happen to end on the losing side and just got taken out because of her association with Joe? You can't even really say that in itself is a bad thing, because people keep people like Joe around as a shield. I would have kept him around as a shield, yet they didn't aim for him, they aimed for her. So it's really difficult to ascertain where she went wrong. The only thing I can really think of is, I mean, she did do all the right things, she just didn't seem to be playing the game as hard as the other people. She did everything right, but with less energy, with less enthusiasm, with less aggression as other players. She just simply wasn't playing the game as hard as everybody else. But I don't know, that's the only thing I can really come up with as to what lesson we can learn from Desi's survivor destruction here. I'd be interested to see in the comment section what your guys' take is on Desi. Where do you guys think she went wrong? Or what could she have done to perhaps save herself? I mean, we know that Ben was looking to flip someone. She could have gone over to their side and offered. Then he probably would have made the offer to her to flip, and that would have at least taken the bullseye off her back, you know? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, I will see you guys in the comments.